presentation. It's a slightly different, on a different topic. So I try to keep notes so that I stay organized and don't go off topic.
Cool. I think we can start the session. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the second session on writing essays for your college applications. And now we have our speaker, Mandi, with us, who is from Muhlenberg College. And today we are going to focus on why that major essay, in which it will allow you to craft an essay on why you would like to opt for majors in a specific subject area or field of study. And let me now formally introduce Mandi to you all. Mandi has devoted the last 16 years in helping students navigate the college admission experiences, both in international college admissions and college counseling as well. She has the most interesting part is that she has traveled to more than 30 countries, and currently she focuses on India, the Middle East, Southeast Asia, and also South Korea. Her responsibilities mainly include guiding and counseling students through both the admissions and financial aid processes. So we are really glad to have you over here, Mandi, with us. We are really honored and we're happy.
Well, thank you so much for that welcome. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy to be here and to talk with the students about their college search experience. So I want to thank you all for attending this session, and I hope that you've been able to attend other sessions in this webinar series. And I'm sure you've gotten great information from a lot of my colleagues at other institutions. And I also want to thank the Next Genius Foundation for organizing this for all of you and for giving all of us a chance to present to you. So this will be fun.
Mandi, sorry to interrupt. We have a few reminders before we start the session,
Okay,
a few
perfect.
announcements. So
Sure.
we have got many queries regarding the recordings of this session. So all the sessions will be recorded and it will be uploaded on the YouTube channel, that is Next Genius Webinars YouTube channel. There is also a live streaming that is going on, so you will also be able to view the sessions on YouTube. The second reminder is regarding yeah, regarding the question answer session. After this session, there will be a 10 minutes to 15 minutes question answer session where all the participants are given the opportunity. You can go below the screen and you can see a question answer box. You can post anything that is relevant to why that major essay and why that why the Muhlenberg College. Please avoid repeated questions like where will the session be, where can we view the session, where will be the recordings posted. So you can post anything regarding why the major essay and why the Muhlenberg College. If you have any further queries, Mandy will be sharing her mail ID and her contact details wherein you can directly ask her. So now I hand over the session to Mandy. You can take it forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm sure you're all going to have a lot of questions at the end of this session. Yes. So before we even talk about the why this major essay, let's just talk a bit for a minute about why the supplemental essays even matter to begin with. Why do colleges and universities ask you to present these supplemental essays when you've probably already written your personal essay that accompanies your application? Well, the supplemental essays are another layer of personalization that really complement your whole admissions application file. When we're evaluating students who've applied to our institutions, we actually find that most applicants are academically qualified. So most of you meet our grade and test score requirements, which means that you're able to come into our colleges and do rigorous academic work. But we're actually looking for something beyond that. We're looking for fit. And I'm sure you've heard a lot about this already, but we're looking for students who are not only going to come in and succeed academically, but who are going to take full advantage of all of the opportunities that our institutions present. So for you as the student, writing these supplemental essays gives you a chance to talk to the admissions office some more, present another aspect of yourself in your admissions application. You get another chance to convince us that you're a student we want to pay attention to. You get to set yourself apart from other applicants. And again, we're looking at very highly qualified students. So a lot of you are going to have amazing grades, amazing test scores, amazing extracurricular activities, but your supplemental essay is unique to you. And then finally, it's another way for you to demonstrate why you are a good fit for our institution. So you want to make sure that you're really taking time to think about these supplemental essays and to really strategize. So before you ever get started with writing your why this major essay, you've got to get yourself organized. And hopefully my colleagues in other sessions have given you the same advice. Get organized. Not every college and university has a supplemental essay, okay? And even schools who do have supplements, you're going to find that those vary greatly. So getting organized is going to help you be well prepared to tackle this big project that you're going to have in front of you. So first, you need to know where you're applying. That seems obvious, but sometimes students are still trying to figure out their college list at the same time that they're trying to put their applications together. So know where you're applying and know what their requirements are. If you're working with the Common Application, once you create your dashboard in Common App and you add the schools you're applying to, you're going to find out which of those schools has supplemental essays. Go into those, read the prompts, know the deadlines, know the requirements, and give yourself plenty of time to put all of this together. Students spend so much time preparing their personal essay for the Common Application, but sometimes they don't really allot enough time for the supplemental essays. So make sure you're giving yourself that time. And as I said, these essays are going to vary greatly. So they will vary in subjects and prompts that the universities are posing for you to respond to. They will vary in length and sometimes in format as well. And I'll tell you a story. I've done both college counseling and college admissions. And several years ago, when I was working as a college counselor, I was working with a student whose dream was to study business at University of Michigan. It's something that he wanted more than anything. And he had done, all kinds of research about University of Michigan and really worked hard in high school so that he would present as a strong applicant. When it came down to completing his application, he didn't go into Common App and add University of Michigan as a school early on in the process. And by the time he did that, and then indicated that he wanted to apply to the School of Business at Michigan, it was only then that he realized he had to submit a business plan. And that was very time consuming for him and really left him kind of in a panic because he was like, I didn't know I had to do this. And I thought, how could you not know? So, this hopefully is making a case for the importance of being organized and knowing what's expected of you so that you can really present your best self in these essays. The essays can definitely show multiple facets of your interests and your personality, but they should also complement each other and give a consistent picture of who you are as an applicant. So it's highly likely that for a lot of schools, you're going to have multiple essays and multiple writing prompts. And they don't all need to be telling the same story, but it's nice if there's a consistent flow to what you're sharing about yourself. And, I'll give an example. If you are someone who's really interested in theater and the performing arts. And maybe you've participated in theater in high school and your extracurriculars show that you've had a lot of performing arts involvement, and you've written your personal essay about your love of theater. And then you write your why this major essay about studying neuroscience. It's okay for you to have various interests, but try to make a connection there somehow, even if it's saying, I'm someone with a lot of different interests, and so I enjoy both the arts and the sciences. Somehow just show that consistency so that we're not reading that application and saying, wait a minute, neuroscience, where did that come from? It's similar to the why this college essay. The why this major essay demonstrates why you're a good match for the school. So you definitely want to keep that in mind in everything that you're doing, demonstrating that you're a good match. The other thing I want to say about the major is that this essay can definitely be aspirational. You might write about wanting to be a neuroscientist or go to med school or study English or a foreign language. It's great for us to really get to know some of your goals when we're reading this essay. But know that admissions committees are also looking for context throughout your application file. So we want to make sure that your academic credentials support your interests. And what I mean by that is if you write your major essay about wanting to study mechanical engineering, but you have mediocre math grades and not high-level math courses, then that doesn't make a strong connection. So we're going to be looking for that context. And it doesn't mean that you absolutely have to have the highest grades in the most advanced level courses to convince us that you're prepared. But just know that we're looking to see that you've really got the academic foundation that will support what you want to study in college. And, the more we know about you, the more we're able to do that. So know that we're looking at that context and really taking all of that into consideration. Before you ever start writing your essay about your major, you've got to do your research. This not only gives you a stronger essay, but it also shows the reader that you're well informed about our institution. And the first bullet point would seem obvious, know what majors and minors are offered at that institution. But honestly, I can't tell you how many times I've read an essay where a student is talking about, his dream of studying electrical engineering, and my institution doesn't have an engineering program. So then I have to wonder, did this student really do his research about our institution? Is this really a good fit? So make sure you know what you're applying for. Doing research also allows you to take your essay a step further and not just explain why this major, but also explain why this major at this institution. And that's really important, is to be able to align your interests with programs at the institution. So definitely take time to do your research and use all the resources that are available to you. And there are so many of them. You can use the institution's website, look at our social media platforms, use different guidebooks that are available both in print and online, college visits. And I know that can be challenging when you're very far away, but now more than ever, all of our institutions are offering amazing virtual opportunities for students to connect with us. So there are virtual tours. There are opportunities to interview with us online. There are information sessions that'll give you a great overview of the institution. And then you should always feel encouraged to reach out to your regional admissions counselor. Send that person an email, ask some questions, engage in communication. All of these not only help you learn more about the institution, but they also help show us that you're interested. So you're never wasting your time when you're putting in the time to research that institution. We always hope that your essays are going to tell your story. And that's your personal essay and any of the supplemental essays that you write. Particularly with the why this major essay, what we want to know is what has led to this interest you have. And there are a lot of different reasons that students get interested in particular majors or programs or subjects. But tell us about that and give us some evidence of your interest. Maybe it's an experience that you've had in high school where you've taken a chemistry class for the first time and really felt passionate about that. Maybe you've always been fascinated with the sciences or languages. Perhaps you have a mentor or a role model in your life who's really influenced you. Maybe that's a teacher who was just so great in the classroom that they've really piqued your interest in a subject. Whatever it is that has led you to this point, tell us about that. It's going to give your essay a very personal tone, and it's going to be interesting for the reader because we're going to feel your interest. Not every student has, at this point, defined their major, and that is absolutely okay. If you're thinking about a few different programs, or you want to double major, or you're considering interdisciplinary studies, that's great. You can write about that in your essay too. And again, just give us some evidence of, why these different areas are interesting to you. And overall, the very best essays always tell your story in your voice and let the reader learn more about you. And that's the whole point of having all of these supplemental pieces to your file, for us to hear more from you and to know who you are. As I mentioned, not everyone knows for certain what they want to major in at this point. And if you're still deciding what you want to study, that is okay. You shouldn't feel pressured to just pick a major so that you can write an essay. If you're still deciding what your academic path will be, you can still write a very strong essay about why this major. And all you have to do is just highlight areas that you're interested in. You can still tell that powerful story about why certain subjects are appealing to you. And in doing your research about the institution, perhaps you've read about certain programs that we offer, or professors who are doing great research that you're really interested in working with. And some of the things that you can talk about in the essay are, maybe the academic flexibility at a particular institution that allows you the time to really explore the curriculum, take classes in different areas as you decide your major. Perhaps you're thinking about a double major, and you can talk about, why and how you see that coming together. Interdisciplinary study is something that is highlighted in a lot of US colleges and universities, where even with a major area of focus, you're taking classes in many other disciplines and learning to make connections among the different topics that you're studying. And that's a powerful piece of your education, learning to make those connections among disciplines. Because all of that is helping you develop certain skills. And that is something powerful to write about in your why this major essay. What skills do you think you're going to develop in your studies? And, particularly with a liberal arts college like Muhlenberg, whether you are a math major or an English major or a biology major, you are going to develop skills in writing, in critical and creative thinking, in discussion and learning how to have a healthy and informative debate and to hear other people's points of views. And those are not just skills that prepare you for any particular major or any particular job. Those are skills that you're going to carry with you wherever you go. So if you're not absolutely certain about the program you're interested in, focus on what does interest you, what excites you, and what skills you really want to develop out of that. It's important to know your options. And again, this kind of comes back to researching the schools you are planning to apply to. Because a lot of students wonder, if I write about wanting to study biology, am I committing myself to that? And the answer, as it often is in college admissions, is it depends. But again, this is where it's really important to know where you're applying. So I want to tell you a couple things to look out for. When you are applying to a university, universities will have colleges or programs within the university. So there might be, a college of engineering, a college of business, a college of arts and sciences. And within these colleges, there are different majors that kind of fall in that area. So when you are applying to a university, you are applying to one of those colleges. And there's less flexibility overall. Sometimes you can easily transfer from one major to another if you're staying within the same college in that university. But if you decide in your second year that you want to move from the College of Education to the College of Engineering, that can be very difficult to do. So in that way, it is incredibly important for you to really feel sure about what you're applying for and what major you're writing about. Now, when you're applying to a college like Muhlenberg, a liberal arts college, there's a lot more flexibility. Your application is really, you're applying for the institution, for admission to the institution, but you're not applying for a specific major. Now, we're still going to ask you on the Common Application what you're interested in studying, but we're not holding you to that. And in fact, a lot of our students come in still deciding what their academic path will be. So when you're looking at small liberal arts colleges, you've got a lot more flexibility, and you're really not committed to whatever major you're telling us about. And you have the opportunity to change your major still. So know what you're getting yourself into, and also be true to yourself. Don't select a major because you think it's going to give you a better chance of being admitted to that institution, or it's what your parents want you to study, because all of this is your journey. So make sure that you're being true to who you are and what really feels like the best path for you. So you've written your essay, right? You've made a strong case for why you want to study this major, why you're a good fit for this institution, how you're going to take your education and really do something powerful with it. The most important thing you can do to close out this part of your application process is to proofread that essay, and proofread it twice, 3 times, 4 times, whatever it takes. This is one of the most important steps in your college application process. And it's not unique to the why this major essay. You want to make sure that you proofread everything you've written in your application. You would be surprised how often students actually misspell their own names on the Common Application. And that then gets uploaded into our systems and we've got your name incorrect. Or especially with supplemental essays where you're writing about a specific program in a specific college or university, make sure you're proofreading that closely, because sometimes you're recycling those essays, right? You're using, the same general essay and changing some details for a specific institution. But make sure you've mentioned the correct school and you've spelled our name accurately, and you're listing a major that we offer at our institution. And if you have referred to a professor, that is indeed a professor at our institution. And again, if I had to calculate how many essays I've read in my career, I would say that it's easily nearing 100,000 essays. And it's really just heart-wrenching for me when I read a student's essay and, they've done everything so well and made such a strong case for themselves. And then at the very end of the essay, in their very strong closing said, and, this is the reason why I just know that Harvard University is the perfect school for me. And I read it and think, oh, but you're applying to Muhlenberg. So proofreading is so important. And don't just leave it to yourself. Have a parent proofread it, or a friend or a teacher or someone you trust who can, read it with a critical eye and give you some information that'll be helpful for you. So that is a very brief overview, and there's a lot of information that we could talk about with writing your essays. And but I do want to make sure that we leave enough time for questions. And then I'd also love to just give you a brief overview of Muhlenberg College. So I'm going to just check in with Helen. Do you want me to talk about Muhlenberg briefly first, and then we'll go to Q&A? Okay.
Yes. You can talk about Muhlenberg and then we'll move to the question answer session.
All right, perfect. So Muhlenberg College, who are we? Well, we are a small liberal arts college. We're located in the state of Pennsylvania in the United States. And Pennsylvania is on the eastern coast of the country. We are about 1.5 hours from New York City. So I find that usually gives people some context and helps them understand exactly where we're located. We are in the 3rd largest city in the state of Pennsylvania. It's called Allentown, and it's an urban area. Allentown is not rural Pennsylvania. It's a very vibrant city. And as I said, we're close to New York City and also very close to Philadelphia. So we've got two major hubs there for our students to really take full advantage of. Muhlenberg has about 2,000 students. We're a diverse campus. We have students coming from all over the world. And we also are a residential community. So almost all of our students live on campus for all 4 years. And students work incredibly closely with their professors at Muhlenberg. We have a 10-to-1 student to faculty ratio. So you're always in small classes, you're always taught by a professor, and you're always with a professor whose goal it is to support you throughout your education and to get to know you well so that they can support you. Because we're a liberal arts college, the curriculum is very flexible. We don't require a why this major essay at Muhlenberg, nor do we require you to come in knowing what you want to major in. You have until your second year to decide your major. We've got 38 different programs. Top 5 majors are theater and dance, business, biology, psychology, and media and communications. So even among those top 5, you can see that there are a lot of great diverse options. It's a very active campus. We have over 100 different student-led clubs and organizations. Muhlenberg is well known for having amazing food on our campus. We're consistently voted the #1 college in the state of Pennsylvania for our campus dining, which is just kind of a fun fact, but know that you're going to eat well if you come there. In terms of our admissions process, we are a common application school. We're a test optional school, so you're not required to submit standardized test scores. We do strongly encourage students to interview with us because we like to meet you. We want to see that you're a good fit for us and we for you. Muhlenberg is a proud partner with Next Genius Foundation. So we do offer a Next Genius scholarship to students. And we also offer need-based and merit funding for international students in general. We're typically not a school that can meet the full cost of attendance, but we do have various scholarships available, including talent scholarships for students within the arts. And then finally, I would invite you all to do some research about the school, get to know us. I've got my email address listed here, and you're welcome to reach out to me at any time. We also have many different virtual ways that you can connect with us. We've got a virtual tour. We offer information sessions online daily. As I mentioned, we do a lot of interviews. We're hosting a series of workshops online for students to help kind of demystify the college search experience. So there are many different ways that you can connect with us and learn more about the college. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Helen and let's get to some of your questions.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you for that wonderful session. We got to know about the college and why the majors essay. Like you covered almost everything. What we were mainly focusing on, we got to learn a lot, and also about
Great.
Muhlenberg College. It was really insightful. I really love the part wherein you said that tell us your story in your own voice. So that is really something that stands out. Instead of just faking it or talking about what is already in the college application, we need to come up with something that really stands out or something that is unique that's happening in our lives. So I even made a point of it. So it was really interesting. I loved your presentation, even though you said that even though you said that you are a beginner and you're not really good at presentations, it was really interesting. I even saw a participant who typed it was like you were sharing your experiences and through humorous instances. So students also really enjoyed.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad that you got a few tips from it. That makes me happy.
Thank you so much. Now we have a lot of questions coming up, and most of them are really we have interesting ones. So I'll pick up the most relevant ones, and you can share your responses. So the first one is when writing an essay about why this major, is it better to state the reason like personal reasons or to write it from an academic perspective?
I will always say personal reasons because that is your story. And if you can weave into that some academic reasons that have maybe strengthened your interest, then great. But really, you want to tell us your personal reason for your interests. So that I always find that when students are writing from their own personal perspective, that it just makes the essay more interesting.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the response. So a student has asked about the placements after completing the graduation. I think it's completely specific to Muhlenberg College. Can you share some anything regarding that?
I'm not sure I understand the question. They're asking for
Work placement after the completing the graduation in their majors.
Oh, okay, outcomes. Yes, of
Yes.
course. That is a great question, and definitely something that you should be thinking about. Not just what do I want to study, but what am I going to do with that major?
Exactly. Yeah.
Wonderful question. You will find that colleges and universities have career centers, and I could speak for an hour about the career center at Muhlenberg. It's an amazing way for students to not just get help finding jobs, but also to start to develop themselves professionally. So our career center begins working with students in their first year at Muhlenberg to give advice about certain majors and what might that mean for careers. They also give our students opportunities to connect with professionals in different industries and organizations. We have a very robust internship program at Muhlenberg, so students can get some real work experience. We have great volunteer opportunities, shadowing professionals in different fields, and also a very strong network of alums around the world who are always more than happy to mentor current students, to give them advice on careers. So know that you're not alone trying to figure all of that out. You're going to have an advisor who's going to help you really develop yourself professionally so that once you're graduating from the institution, you're going to be a really strongly qualified candidate, whether you're going into a job or into grad school.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for the response. Another question we have, and it was like repeated thrice. So this question is like, if we haven't decided on taking up a particular majors, and when we are writing the why majors essay, so will this be considered as a disadvantage, or will it be not considered as a good essay?
It really depends. Here I go with that answer again. It depends. Some institutions have less flexibility. So when you are applying to that institution, you absolutely need to know what program you're applying for. And that's not just specifically for the US, but universities around the world. Many of them don't offer that flexibility. So in that case, you need to make sure that you know what program you want to apply to and why. With an institution that offers more flexibility, you're not at a disadvantage if you don't know your major. And certainly at a liberal arts college like Muhlenberg, you're not disadvantaged at all because we encourage students to explore widely and to not make a decision too early, because we want you to take full advantage of the curriculum. So it really depends on the type of school you're applying to. And this is another reason why attending those information sessions that we offer, connecting with your regional admissions counselor can be very helpful, because you can ask that question about that specific institution and get an answer that can be very informative.
That's great to hear. Another question we have is, can a good essay overcome an average extracurriculars? If you have scored
Yes,
less, or yeah.
yes, absolutely. Um, Again, we're taking everything into context, and we're really using the different components of your application file to tell a complete picture of who you are. And we know that when it comes to extracurricular activities, not every student has the same opportunity to participate in organized activities. Also, a lot of students are very passionate about activities that have nothing to do with clubs and organizations at school. So some students are, very avid readers or artists or musicians, or they are committed to service in their communities, or they work part-time, or they have family responsibilities. All of these matter to us. So all of these are the kinds of activities that you can talk about in your application. But absolutely, a strong essay tells us about you, and it lets us hear from you in your voice. So that is something that certainly at Muhlenberg, we put a lot of emphasis on the essay, and we really not only enjoy reading them, but we take time to read them so that we can learn about the student. And we're also reading them so that we can assess your writing. Which is why I emphasized the importance of editing and proofreading your work.
Perfect. That was a good answer. So another question that we have got is like, if a student has come up with a creative essay and used flowery language, and there is another application wherein the student has put everything, the content, in a simple and straightforward manner, which will be given more importance and which will be the essay that would win your minds?
Mm. It's hard to answer that just in a generalized way. For me, I appreciate essays that feel conversational. So sometimes I can tell that a student has maybe used their dictionary and thesaurus to really pull out some words that they think are going to be impressive to us. And it's great to have a very strong vocabulary, but you don't need to stack your essay with all of these big words to impress us. I often recommend that students read their essay aloud, because doing that helps you know if it flows well, if it sounds authentic, and if you can pronounce those words. If you can't pronounce the word, don't use it in your essay.
Using jargons.
So I think it's important to, again, be true to who you are. If you are someone who is very funny and you infuse humor into a lot of who you are, it's okay to use some humor in your essay. But if you're not that way, don't try to make your essay funny. Just to be authentically you. And that's going to come through consistently, not only in the essays that you write for your application, but also in your recommendations from your teacher and your counselor and other parts of your application file. Those are all going to tell a consistent picture of who you are.
Great. We are going to the last question of this session, that is, students want to know what is the difference between majors and minors. Why is it important when we are writing essays for the Common App application?
Oh, very good. So a minor is an area of study that can complement your major, and it doesn't take as many classes to fulfill a minor. And again, this varies from school to school, but using Muhlenberg as an example, our students can choose 3 areas of study at Muhlenberg. So you could have a double major and 1 minor, or you could have 1 major and 2 minors. The minors are all interdisciplinary. So they're not focused just on one subject, but they're helping you make connections among various subjects. And they really do complement our majors. You can choose any major at Muhlenberg and any minor. And it really, I think, not only can deepen your area of focus to have a minor, but it can also expand your knowledge base. So, and different schools might have, in addition to minors, certificates or just different areas of focus that you can add to your studies.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Mandy, for the session, and also you cleared a lot of doubts that our attendees and participants were having. So thanks a lot for your time, for putting up the presentation and including almost all the points that were relevant to us. We look forward to more such sessions, and we'll make sure that we'll have an extended time instead of keeping it to 30-35 minutes. I know it was a really hard time for you to just keep it short. And
well, I wish you all the best in your college search experience. Have fun with it, because this is a major time in your life. So really enjoy it. I hope that you all stay safe and well. And I send, my regards to you and your families. And again, thank you to my friends at Next Genius for hosting this. It's been really fun. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Mandy. Before we close the session, Mandy, could you give the students, the participants, one final piece of advice from your side? Like the students are in 11th, 12th grade, and students who want to pursue their higher studies, come abroad, apply in the US, the UK. What is an advice from your side to our students?
Start now. If you are an 11th grader or a 12th grader, it doesn't matter. I talked so much in the beginning about the importance of research and putting in the time to get to know the schools you're thinking about. Start that now, and keep yourself organized so that you've got detailed notes that you can refer back to when you're actually sitting down to write these essays, and you're making well-informed decisions for yourself. You've got thousands of options when it comes to your college career. So start now to put in the time and really explore so many different schools that are going to be wonderful options for you.
That was a great piece of advice, Mandy. Thank you once again. Before we close the session, we have 2 resources to share with our students that's really going to help them. The first resource is 71 Essays ebook that worked. This book is put together by Dr. Neeraj Mandana and also his team. This book shares the essays of students who studied abroad, wherein they share their experiences, the challenges, what made them stand apart from the crowd. So this is going to help you in crafting wonderful and powerful essays for your college applications. The next resource is the Next Genius initiative, that is Ask Us Anything, wherein you can send us your queries that is related to your academics or regarding your college applications, anything. And we have counselors and career experts from across India who will share recorded videos and live videos answering your queries. So a student has asked about STEM, and we have got a counselor, Ishita ma'am, who responded to this query. So you can DM us, or we also have a link where you can post your questions. So these are the 2 resources we would like to share with you. So once again, thanks to all the participants, and it was really exciting. The session was really exciting and insightful. Once again, thank you, Mandy. We were really honored to have you with us today. We look forward to your sessions. Like the next session will be starting in 18 to 20 minutes. We hope to see all the participants over there. The next session is going to be on creative or quirky essay prompts by Alex Trumbull from Beloit College. So see you within the next 15 minutes. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you.
Enjoy.
To all the participants. Have a great day.
Take care.
Yeah.